Oh, it's a sign of the times. One lie by a pizza worker caused 1.7 million Australians to go from lockdown into an even harder lockdown. And the way they describe it, it almost sounds like prison. Like how you're locked down in prison, but then you have another lockdown in prison where you actually get locked down for a period of time, and for pretty much anything. Something happens in another pod, and they lock the prison down. So you have levels. You've got like you're locked down, yeah, you're in prison, but you still got day room and things like that. And then you've got lockdown, where you're in your cell and you're locked down. That's kind of what this reminds me of. And so essentially, Australia, 1.7 million. In Australia, 1.7 million people went on a lockdown because of a pizza employee who lied. Woo! Let's read it. CNN. A pizza worker's lie forced an Australian state of 1.7 million people into lockdown. Whew. Could you imagine being that pizza guy? Woo. A pizza bar worker with COVID-19 who lied about their employment activities triggered a lockdown across the entire state of South Australia, authorities were forced to admit on Friday. The state of 1.7 million people would not have gone into a 6-day circuit breaker had the employee... See, I love how they come up with these cool names. A circuit breaker. Okay, yeah. Kind of break the circuit of the cycle. I get it. I get it. Things to make something harsh sound not so harsh. Had the employee told the truth to a contact tracing team, then they never would have been on the lockdown. South Australia Premier Stephen Marshall told reporters at a press conference. He announced the state had decided to lift its 6-day lockdown early based upon new information and based upon the truth finally coming out. Whew. God, 1.7 million people. God, could you imagine being that pizza worker? Whew. South Australian Police Commissioner Grant Stevens said officials had since learned that a person who claimed to have been at the Woodville Pizza Bar in the city of Adelaide only briefly to collect a takeaway pizza was actually an employee who had been working regular shifts there. See, they had thought that, oh my gosh, here is this very virulent strain and very contagious strain, because if this guy went in to grab a pizza and he was only there momentarily and he got COVID, well, then that's a very virulent strain, and that's why they went on to the lockdown. Later on, it had been concluded that the strain of COVID-19... Authorities had previously concluded that the strain of COVID-19 was highly contagious, assuming the person had caught it despite a very short period of exposure, meaning he just ran in to grab a pizza and left. However, that was not what happened. Dun, dun, dun. South Australia went into lockdown on Wednesday after confirming dozens of locally transmitted cases for the first time since April. The pizza bar had been identified as a COVID hotspot. SA Health contact tracers found that one of the close contacts linked to the Woodville Pizza Bar deliberately misled the contact tracing team. Marshall said, "We now know that they had lied." He lied. He was probably scared. Someone comes up and says, hey, this and that and this and that, contact tracing. He was probably scared. He was probably, no, I was just barely in there. He was probably scared. As of midnight Saturday, the state's stay-at-home order will be repealed, and South Australians will be permitted to exercise outdoors and go back to previous restrictions. So your restrictions have lessened to lesser restrictions, but still restrictions. See what I mean? It's like prison. You're on restrictions, something happened, you go on lockdown, it's clear, now you get to go off lockdown to just being imprisoned. Basically what had happened is the pizza worker lied, said that he went in just to grab a takeout pizza. The authorities said, wow, you just ran in to grab a takeout pizza and you got infected. This must be a really virulent strain. Let's go on to a 6-day circuit breaker cycle to break the circuit. Then it was later found out that no, he didn't just run in to get a pizza. He's been an employee there for a long period of time. See how much just one little thing can affect everybody. One little tiny thing. Speaking of tiny little things, I got this tiny little thing called putting my body on the line to make sure that the food here gets going. Give me a like, a share, a thumbs up, a comment, a subscribe. I'm shooting for 2,000 subscribers. We can definitely do it. We got this. You guys can help out. It's amazing what just one person with one lie can do. And I guarantee you, it wasn't malicious, I don't think. He was probably just scared. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one.